Organizational drivers. What makes an organization decide to do this? It has a reason, be it regulatory, be it customers, be it partners. There's something that's forcing an organization to do things. Liability, big one. Management does not want to be held responsible. I don't see it on this slide, but it's a huge one. Corporate executive management can be held personally liable if they're negligent, if they should have done something, if it's expected for them to do something they didn't. They can be held liable. They do not want to be held liable, and I mean personally liable, pierce the corporate veil type liability, where they lose their house, their car, whatever else they have. That's a big driver. We have other internal drivers. Reorganization of the company, looking at re-engineering business processes to make them work better, changes to the acceptable level of risk, maybe more things are taken on by the company, and what was acceptable before on some risks is no longer acceptable. It has to be reduced, or maybe it can be increased because the company has shed some things that cause stress to management. Security incidents. A breach is discovered you didn't have before that you were maybe not even aware was possible. Now you've got to re-engineer things to deal with that. New products or upgrades to existing products. You're going from Windows XP to Vista or 7 or Windows 8. You know, someone says, let's install Windows 8, relatively new OS. Will your current software work with it? Anything new coming out is going to require newer things on the back end. You can't stay with the old. I think of my iPad. You know, I have an original iPad, I have an iPad 3. Don't have a 4, be nice to have one. But don't get all the toys. But I look at the iOS version. I have iOS 6 on my newer iPad, iOS 5 on my old one. 6 it wasn't released for it. There's a limit, it's slowly going to die. It's death. New software isn't going to be supported on it. There's a driver. I want to get something new, I've got to have a newer piece of equipment. Newer updated business goals. Maybe you saw some new marketing, a new area you can move into, an area that was untapped by the market and you move towards it. So you have new goals. On the external side, you know, you got laws, regulations. They're big. You don't have a choice. You've got to comply with them. Technological advances. Well, the bad guys improve. You've got to improve as well. You've got to stay ahead of them, or they're going to hurt you. And they want to hurt you just because you live and breathe. That's enough reason. Updated industry standards. Someone says, here's a better way of doing things, and the industry adopts that as a standard. Maybe you had all this nice stuff in the past, but it was not standardized. Someone comes out with a standard format. You either move to it or you become isolated. There's a reason to change, because isolation is usually a negative in most industries. Customer requests, new requirements. Customer says, yeah, we really like what you're making for us, but it turns out we forgot we need this in it as well. You know, de-icers on the wing of the plane. Probably a good thing, especially when you're looking at something like a DC-10. Seem to remember they forgot those and there was a horrible crash. Okay, put the de-icers in. Plane flies. That should have been a requirement in there earlier, got added in later. You got to do it, or else no one's going to buy your product. Business partners make requests or new requirements. You are picking up some work from someone else or sending stuff out to them, and they make requests saying, you need to do this so we can work with it, or you've got to meet these requirements. Maybe you've got to be ISO 9000 or 9001 certified for them to do business with, or you require that of them. If they don't meet those requirements or you don't meet them, you're not going to be doing business. These are drivers meant to ensure consistent quality, reliability, stability, and reduce your liability.